Hello, good evening to you. My name is Robert, and welcome on this another live stream on a flight from Bangkok to Phuket. Short domestic flights, a little bit over 1 hour of flying time. Um, I'm doing this flight of NOK7514, which is a mid-afternoon flight, scheduled flight from the Dong Muang Old International Airport of Bangkok to Phuket International in the southern part of Thailand. HSDBK, Hotel Sierra Delta Bravo Kilo, as you can see, is the registration of this aircraft. A very nice aircraft. I like it a lot because of the color scheme they use with the distinctive bird and bird nose on it. So there's actually some thunder showers in the area. Let's have a look. I thought I could see the registration, not the registration, the name of the aircraft on it as well. Yeah, it's NOK75. On the right hand side of the cockpit, it's written in Thai, a Thai alphabet. I cannot read it. I can speak a few words, but I cannot read it. But on the left side, it's in normal ABC, and it's the NOK75. Sabai means pleasure, if I'm well informed. This is part of my pre-holiday fun. I'm gonna fly this flight actually as a passenger in not a long time from now. So NOK Air, I've been flying that aircraft, the airline a lot in the past. I've been to the country a lot, and the last few years it expanded quite big. So the fleet has grown to a much bigger size than I'm used to. Also, in the past, I only flew the 737-400, so the classic 737, or maybe even the 300. I don't know. At least it was a classic 737. So, but now they are all on the NGs, the 737-800. So this will be my first time also that I will fly as a passenger on a 737-800 of NOK Air. And NOK is very nice colors. They have very different colors on the different aircraft, which makes it a very attractive airline to photograph, which hopefully I can do as well, especially at Phuket Airport. So, like I said, 15 local time is the standard departure time of this flight, this 7514 flight, and 3:15 equals 0815 UTC, the Zulu time, which is almost the time now. It's 0807, as you can see. I know the actual time is much later in UTC, but I want to have the daylight conditions of the actual 7514 flight. So that's why I changed the simulated time to near 0815 UTC, which is the normal departure time of this airplane, this flight. So not a lot of time to chit chat. I have to go running very quickly with the procedures. Yeah, there's some lightning in the area, so that might be a factor when we navigate. First of all, I want to apologize a little bit for the departure and the arrival route which I'm gonna take. It's more or less the procedure pre December 2018. I have a Navigraph subscription, but somehow they are not completely up to date. They are up to date with the waypoints, but they are not up to date for some reason with the standard instrument departures and standard instrument arrival procedures in this part of the world, at least. So I noticed. So I could not select the actual currently published SIDs and stars. So I'm using an old one. So that's a little bit annoying, but I can't change this very quickly. It's more or less the same basic procedure, but some intermediate points in the SIDs and stars have been changed. So I try to do my best, but this will not be 100%. But I can blame Navigraph on this, I'm afraid. So we have 5 minutes left. I did the pre-flight checklist already with my Asian co-pilot. So he has a little bit of accent in his English, so that's funny. It's the first time I do this with the Asian co-pilot of FS2Crew, so I don't know what will happen in the second and the third part of the startup procedure and during all the other stages of the flight. So also, like I said before, on the 777 flights, I have some issues with OBS and prepared 4.4, I guess it is now. Using the game capture facility does not work correctly. It only works as long as you don't hit any menu button, and as long as the flight simulation is not reloading something like a scenery or so. Otherwise, you have to refresh it all the times, or even you have a completely black screen. Don't give me tips about you're running an administrator. I know that's about the 100% black screen. That's not the problem. The problem is more complicated, I guess. So I'm using display capture. So if there's some annoying pop-up showing here, then it's because I'm using the display capture. That's also why you all see all my various add-ons I use. So PFPX, I can actually close that now. Let's do that. But the chase plane for the views, prepared is the actual simulation, the Adobe Reader, the vPilot for connection to the VATSIM network, Navigraph for the charts. I have flight control replay, which is especially useful on the 777. It works more or less on the 737, but less fluently at the moment. OBS for the streaming. I have my internet browser, of course. I use on my second screen to check on YouTube. I don't have much time to chat. I'm sorry for that. That's too complicated in this setup I have here, with not so many screens and only a short flight. Active Sky for the weather, which I'm using now. And like you already could see on my screen, there are some thunderstorms, some lightning in the area, which is not very rare in this part of the world, the tropics. So, a little bit about the flight plan while we are counting down. Still 4 minutes to go. The APU is already running, so we will ask for the tow truck to push us back quickly. We're on stand 34, by the way. The fuel planning, we have 3,000. We uploaded about 7,000 kilograms of fuel, which equals 2 hours and 55 minutes endurance time. But we probably only need 3,100 kilograms for the 1 hour and 9 minutes flight to Phuket. We have 5% contingency fuel. We have, of course, some fuel in case we need to halt over Phuket for whatever reason, weather or other traffic. Our alternate is Krabi. That's Victor Tango Sierra Golf. That's is also takes about 30 minutes, including the approach. So we have fuel for that. We should never be below 1,100 kilograms of fuel, which is for 30 minutes with this weight. The minimum takeoff fuel we need is 6,969. We have some taxi fuel. It's actually a very short taxi ride to runway 21 right today. Yes, and the arrival fuel at Phuket will be 3,800 more or less if we don't need any of the contingency fuel, alternate fuel, or holding fuel. This is the empty weight of the 737-800 aircraft. We have 186 plus 3 passengers on board. I did some manipulation on the cargo as PMDG does not allow for this kind of seating configuration. So I just tweet a little bit the simulation to make sure that my gross weight equals about 60,300 kilograms. So all my takeoff calculations in PMDG should be according the calculations of PFPX, which is my flight planning program. Okay, HSDBK, NOK7514 is the call sign. So we depart from runway 21 right. The temperature is 28 degrees Celsius at the moment. Of course, no anti-ice is needed. The air conditioning packs will be on. For passenger comfort, we have an assumed temperature of 32 for our derated thrust takeoff with 5 degrees of flaps, which is pretty standard. 21 right to depart from Muang. And then we fly the Sabis departure. It should have been a 3 Alpha, but I think it is already now some other designator, so don't look at that too much. Or it is the actual departure procedure, but it's not implemented in the Navigraph files for PMDG or whatever. So Yankee 8 then to via Mainex to Ranong, VOR 113.4, and then direct to Kikot for the runway 09 at Phuket. The weather at Phuket is nice, of course, I would almost say. Temperature 25, no anti-ice is needed, flaps 30 landing, and in case of an engine anti-outs, this is the procedure which we have to follow. What's more to say? The winds. I put the main winds into the flight management system, so especially for the VNAV climb, especially the VNAV descent, we can take that into account a little bit. It's not much special weather into effect at this time. 1 hour 9 minutes is the ATC flight plan. Flight level 360, 36,000 feet is the single cruising level we are going to take. By the way, this is actually ATS route, and in the common practice, what I see on Flight Radar is that this flight is cleared many times on a direct route to, well, whatever, Phuket or Kikot or this VUR here, Romeo Alpha November. So there are some waypoints, some turning points in this route, which normally you don't see them fly. But so I have to judge what the most likely flight plan is. If somebody knows a real flight plan, please let me know. So I guess it's this one after some analysis of some flights on Flight Radar, which again have some straight tracks in it, different to the flight plan route. But I guess it could be something like this, with many times a ATC direct shortcut to Phuket. I will fly this ATC route exactly like this for VATSIM reasons, so people know that I'm actually gonna take this flight and no shortcuts apart from the approach phase after Kikot. VTSG, the alternate, is reported also in the flight plan for ATC, that we know they know that we will go to Krabi if it's necessary. The registration HSDBK. The weather at Phuket, 1 to 0 degrees 6 knots, easterly wind, which is very common for this season. There's a monsoon wind in this area, so that means easterly winds in the winter time, and in summertime it's more or less a westerly wind. So that means that runway 09 is used many times in the winter time, like January or February. Dongwang, almost the same. You can see there's tempo, some thunderstorm with rain. That's the sound you hear sometimes now. Okay. Let's see the note times, all the navigation information. It's already time to go. It's 17 past now. My co-pilot is getting impatient. Okay, yeah, here the flight plan. Turn your head to the left. And then you can see for flight level 360, I have also for 340 and 380 in case we need it. See, no real turbulence apart from maybe some thunderstorm clouds, which we can avoid using the weather radar. Should be a nice ride. This more or less southerly winds at this altitude. Only near Phuket at lower altitudes we will encounter the moderate or light easterly winds. So the departure from runway 2 on the right, the SID departure at Sabis will enter the ATS system. This is the official route. But like I said, normally it's a shortcut, I guess, to Romeo Alpha November or even to Phuket itself. So if we fly the official way, it's via Mainex, then to Romeo Alpha November into Kikot, and after Kikot we'll fly the instrument approach to runway 09. I will get back to that during the flight. Okay, that's about the flight plan. I'll show you something about the departure and the place we are now. I do that with Navigraph. Here you are. So this is Dongwang Airport, Victor Tango Bravo Delta, sorry. This is my position at stand 34. Cannot see the pink triangle is my aircraft, but they don't show it on this map. You can see that. So 34 is here. It's a common gate for near the domestic. Actually, it's near the international passenger terminal, but for some reason they use stand 34 according some flight information websites. So at least I see it for 2 days already. So that's what I choose to stand 34. Jetways are not operating in this scenery I use, regretfully. So the doors are closed already. Passengers on board, the ground connections are off, and the APU is running. So from here we'll taxi via, well, the outer or the inner taxi track, probably taxiway Charlie, to Delta, and then we enter the runway 2 on the right. Take off in southerly direction, in direction of downtown Bangkok. It is actually. But for noise abatement reasons, you can see that we make a quick right-hand turn to avoid most of the noise over the city of Bangkok. And then we turn in easterly direction. Like I said, the waypoints here have changed a little bit. We don't follow these one. We follow the waypoints in our FMC, slightly different. The common thing is that we make a right-hand turn, and the common thing is that it ends at Sabis. And then we take the Yankee 8 further down to South Thailand. Transition altitude is 11,000 feet. Okay, so we're back in the cockpit. I'll turn down the control steering column a little bit for better view on the systems. So the heading is set 210. 8,000 feet is the initial climb altitude for the first restriction. Let's check the FMC here. Well, it's actually 6,000 feet or above. I can't see a restriction here in the FMC. It was plotted on the new chart. So actually there is an 8,000 feet restriction on the new Sabis departure, but I can't see it here. So why we not put in flight level 130 already? And we check if there's any ATC to ask for clearance. There is no ATC like I expected. In reality, there's always ATC, but this is VATSIM, and you must be lucky to have ATC in Thailand. So we can continue now with the before start procedure. I will enable the co-pilot by pressing on the hard mute button. All doors and cargo doors are closed. We can check that again from the outside. Should be fine. We ask for the before start procedure now. Before start procedure.
Taxi.
Are you ready for the departure brief?
Go ahead.
Okay, that's going to be a standard pushback and start of the gate. Taxi route will be as assigned by ATC. It'll be a left seat takeoff using rated thrust. Planning a flaps 5 takeoff. NTIs will be off. In the event of a malfunction prior to V1, I will call either reject or continue. Standard low speed reject procedures below 80 knots. Between 80 knots and V1, I will only conduct a high speed reject in the case of an engine fire or failure, a predictive wind shear warning, or if there is any other condition that makes the aircraft unable or unsafe to take into the air. I will simultaneously close the thrust levers, disconnect the autothrottle, apply maximum manual braking, or verify the operation of the RTO auto brake. Apply maximum reverse thrust, verify the extension of the speed brake, and bring the aircraft to a complete stop and set the parking brake. We will then run the appropriate checklist and evaluate our options. If you could monitor my actions, make the standard rejected takeoff calls, including any abnormalities you observe before advising ATC. From V1, or if the call is continue, I will continue the takeoff as per the standard company procedure. We will climb to the MSA and track clear of the local terrain. We are under our maximum landing weight, so we are okay to make an immediate return. Okay, all going well. The departure routing will be via the assigned SID, complying with our published speed and altitude restrictions. We will use N8DP2. LNAV is armed. Flight directors are on, mine is master, yours is slave. Navigation radios are set, the NOTAMs and the aircraft defect log have been reviewed. Any questions, comments or concerns?
No questions.
Departure brief complete.
Before start checklist.
Before start checklist, flight deck door closed and locked, MCP.
V2150, heading 210, altitude 9000. Set and checked.
Takeoff speed.
V1 139, VR 141, V2 150.
CDU pre-flight.
Completed.
Rudder and aileron train.
3 and 0.
Taxi and takeoff briefing.
Completed.
Anti-collision light on. Before start checklist complete.
Thank you.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback. Locking gear. Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted. Release parking brakes. Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
ความปลอดภัยการเดินอากาศขอความกรุณาปิดโทรศัพท์มือถือและอุปกรณ์อิเล็กทรอนิกส์ต่างๆขณะนำเครื่องขึ้นเนื่องจากสัญญาณอาจมีผลกระทบต่อระบบสื่อสารและระบบนำร่องของเครื่องบินทางนี้ท่านสามารถเปิดอุปกรณ์ดังกล่าวในไฟล์โหมดได้หลังจากนำเครื่องขึ้นแล้วและสัญญาณการเข็มขัดดับลงพร้อมกันนี้ต้องการขอความร่วมมือท่านงดนำอาหารและเครื่องดื่มมารับประทานบนเครื่องค่ะอีกสักครู่พนักงานต้อนรับจะสาธิตวิธีการใช้อุปกรณ์ต่างๆในกรณีที่มีเหตุฉุกเฉินและเสื้อชูชีพมีไว้ใช้ในเวลาฉุกเฉินเท่านั้นห้ามลงจากเครื่องบินเด็ดขาดขอบคุณค่ะ Ladies and gentlemen, to comply with flight safety regulations, please turn off all personal electronic devices. You may turn your devices on again in flight mode setting after takeoff and the seatbelt sign switch off. For your Thai corporation, personal food consumption in the cabin is not allowed. In a moment, the cabin crew will demonstrate how to use the emergency equipment. Life vests will be used only in emergency. Removing from the aircraft is strictly prohibited. นี่คือเข็มขัดรัดที่นั่ง This is your seat belt. วิธีรัดเข็มขัดให้สอดหัวเข็มขัดเข้าด้วยกันปรับสายรัดให้แน่น To fasten, insert the metal link into the buckle and tighten the strap. วิธีปลดเข็มขัดให้ยกหัวด้านบนขึ้นและแยกปลายทั้งสองด้านออกจากกัน To release, lift the metal flap. ความกดอากาศบนเครื่องบินนี้ได้รับการปรับเพื่อความสบายของท่านหากมีการเปลี่ยนแปลงหน้ากากออกซิเจนจะหล่นลงมาโดยอัตโนมัติ Oxygen and air pressure are always being monitored. In the event of decompression, oxygen mask will automatically drop down from the panel above you. ดึงหน้ากากลงมาหาตัวท่านสวมหน้ากากโดยครอบให้ปิดปากและจมูกของท่านและใช้สายรัดคาดไว้ที่ศีรษะหายใจตามปกติจนกว่าเราจะแจ้งให้ท่านเลิกใช้เมื่ออากาศในเครื่องกลับสู่สภาวะปกติ Pull the mask towards you to allow the oxygen flow. Place it firmly over your nose and mouth. Secure your strap around your head and breathe normally. ผู้โดยสารที่เดินทางกับเด็กท่านต้องสวมหน้ากากออกซิเจนให้ตัวท่านก่อนจะช่วยเหลือเด็ก If you are traveling with a child or someone who requires assistance, secure your own mask first before assisting the others. Keep your mask on until advised by the cabin crew. ทางออกฉุกเฉินบนเครื่องมี 8 ทาง 2 ทางที่ด้านหน้า 4 ทางตรงกลางและอีก 2 ทางที่ด้านหลังโดยสังเกตจากเครื่องหมาย exit สีแดงเหนือทางออก There are 8 emergency exits on this aircraft. 2 are located in the forward section, 4 are over the wings, and 2 are located at the rear. All are clearly marked with red exit signs.
That's
ในกร
5.
ณีต้องนำเครื่องลงฉุกเฉินกรุณาทิ้งสัมภาระไว้ทั้งหมดและเดินตามสัญญาณไฟฉุกเฉินที่ปรากฏขึ้นไปยังทางออกที่ใกล้ที่สุด Please take a few moments to locate your nearest exit. In some cases, your nearest exit may be behind you. If you need to evacuate the aircraft, leave your personal belongings. Floor level lighting will guide you towards the exit. คู่มือความปลอดภัยในกระเป๋าหน้าที่นั่งของท่านกรุณาศึกษาคู่มือความปลอดภัยอย่างละเอียดนะคะขอบคุณค่ะ
Unlocking gear. Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear. Right is clear.
We have to depart quickly because of the thunderstorm. Flight control check.
Ready.
Full right. Center.
Check.
Full left. Center.
Check.
Full up. Center.
Check.
Full down. Center.
Check.
Rudder check. Full right. Center.
Check.
Full left. Center.
Check.
Flight controls check complete. Before taxi checklist.
Before taxi checklist. Generators on. Prop heat on. Anti-ice off. Isolation value auto. Engine start switches. Continuous recall.
Checked.
Checked. Auto brake. RTO. Engine start levers.
Idle detent.
Flight controls.
Checked.
Ground equipment.
Clear.
Clear. Before taxi checklist complete.
Thank you. Clear on the left.
Clear right. Flight deck. Okay, thanks, Captain. The cabin is secure.
Thank you. Before takeoff checklist.
Before start checklist, flaps.
Flaps 5, green light.
Stabilizer trim.
Stabilizer trim, 5.0 units. Set and checked.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
Thank you. Runway entry procedure.
Check. Cabin crew, take your seats. Ready to go.
Check. Take off.
Check.
Yoga.
Check. Thrust set.
Check.
80 knots.
Check. Throttle hold.
Rotate. Positive rate.
Gear up. Select level change.
Level change.
N1. Bug up.
Bug up. Bug up is set.
Check. Flaps 1.
Flaps 1.
Flaps up.
Flaps up.
Select Command A.
Command A.
After takeoff checklist.
Stand by.
Okay, we have to avoid thunderstorm. Heading select.
Check.
Select VNAV.
VNAV.
After takeoff checklist.
After takeoff checklist. Engine breeze. On. Flaps. Auto. Landing gear. The gear is still there. Flaps up. No lights. After takeoff checklist is complete.
Thank you. That's
Happy
strange.
to release the cabin crew. Okay.
Negative. Turbulence.
10,000.
Check.
Okay, to release the cabin.
No.
Okay. Transition altitude set standard.
Check. Transition altitude set standard. Okay, to release the cabin. Select VNAV. Select LNAV.
LNAV.
Sorry. Approaching subbies. Leaving the standard instrument departure now, going into the ATS system.
1000 to level.
Check.
Would you like the fasten seatbelt sign to auto?
Okay. Okay. And leveling off 360. And one is reducing. Okay, so here we are. Just leveled off at flight level 360, our cruising level for today. Just while we are approaching Bruxelles. And maybe interesting to see is that on our right hand side we have a very small part of Thailand, because Myanmar is very close. It's a very narrow part of the country. And on the left we have the Gulf of Thailand, while we are en route to Mainex now, the waypoint which you can see here. We're gonna have a very short break, just very short, and then I'll start to brief you about the approach procedure into Phuket, and after that I will communicate with my first officer to prepare for the landing at Phuket, because it's only a very short flight. So see you in about 5 minutes. Okay, I'm back, as promised. Still at flight level 360. We are starting to pick up Ranong VOR on 113.4. You can see it here on the navigation display. Here is Ranong. And that's also the top of descent point. So I'm going to prepare for the descent now. You can see it's a very short flight. So I'm going to do the briefing with my co-pilots, and we expect runway 09. Because the winds at Phuket are from the east, just 7 knots, 9,000 meters, and just few clouds at 2,000 feet, with a temperature of 24 and the QNH, the air pressure 1014. Give you a quick view of the airport chart to give you an idea. Here we are. So we are coming in from Kikot and then to Tarpu. It's a Kikot 1 Charlie, and then we proceed to Kalim, 4,000 feet or above, and from Kalim we proceed inbound for a VOR DMI Zulu approach on the runway 09. That's here. At 11 miles out, we'll start our descent to a final approach altitude 1900 feet, and it's an offset course, so it's very interesting. We have to compensate visually. We have the runway in sight, so we track inbound on radial 079 into Phuket VOR 116.9 to a minimum descent altitude of 900 feet, so we cannot descend below it until we have good visual contact with the runway. And the missed approach point is at 1.5 miles, so in case we don't have any contact on the runway, and we proceed until 1.5 nautical miles from the VOR, and then still no contact, we have to execute a missed approach, which is to climb straight at to 2,500 feet, and then a right-hand turn on heading 180 to continue climb to 3,000 feet to hold over Genoa. If everything goes okay, we land at runway 09, vacate to the right, and taxi via taxiway Papa to the passenger terminal. I will take one of the remote spots or a spot near a gate. There's no GSX support as far as I know, so we have to taxi in ourselves. So that's about it. Now I'm going to concentrate on the descent with my co-pilot. Thank you very much.
Are you ready for the approach brief?
Okay.
The arrival routing will be via the ATC assigned star, complying with all published speed and altitude restrictions. For a VOR approach, planning a flap 30. Final approach fixed altitude is 1900 feet. Decision altitude is 900 feet. Missed approach altitude is 3000 feet. Taxi route in will be as assigned by ATC. We will be arriving at a gate. We will use the APU, but please delay the start until my command, as we have a long taxi in. Descent speeds and navigation radios are set. Airport NOTAMs have been reviewed. Any questions, comments or concerns?
No questions.
Approach brief complete.
Descent procedure.
Check.
Descent checklist.
Descent checklist. Pressurization. Landing altitude is 100 feet. Recall. Checked. Auto brake. Level 2. Landing data.
VREF 142. Minimums 900 feet. VREF 142. Minimums 900 feet.
VREF 149er. Minimums 900 feet. Approach briefing.
Completed.
Descent checklist complete.
To be sure, it's 149. My apologies, not 142. TREF 149 is checked. So we can descend all the way, 1900, final approach altitude. And let VNAV take care of the descent. It's a bit below. Now, don't forget we have to put that to the MDA when we start our final descent.
Passenger level altimeters preset 1013.
Check. Approach checklist.
Altimeters
1013 set.
1013 set. Approach checklist complete.
Thank you.
$10,000.
Check.
Cabin crew, prepare for landing.
Ladies and gentlemen, in preparation for landing, please return to your seat, ensuring seatbelts are securely fastened, your tray tables are stowed, armrests are down, and window blinds are open. Please ensure your cabin baggage is stowed securely. All portable electronic devices must be confirmed in the flight safe or airplane mode. Laptop computers and larger portable electronic devices must now be switched off and stowed away securely. In order to comply with safety regulations, the cabin crew will now complete the final check of the cabin. If you have any used service items that you may have accumulated during the flight, are ready for collection. Thank you.
Speed intervene.
Checked. Flight deck. Okay, thanks. Captain, the cabin is secure.
Thank you. Heading select.
Check. First or light.
Check.
Southern to level.
Check.
Cabin crew, take your seats. Final approach, fixed height checked. Mid
Check.
approach, altitude not set.
Check. Flaps 1.
Flaps 1.
Flaps 5.
Check.
Flaps 5.
Flaps 5.
Gear down.
Gear down.
Flaps 15.
Flaps 15.
Flaps 30.
Flaps 30.
Landing checklist. Landing checklist.
Landing checklist. Engine start switches.
Continuous.
Speed brake.
Armed.
Landing gear.
Down.
Flaps.
Flaps 30. Green light.
Landing checklist complete.
Thank you. Cleared. Runway inside. Manual flight.
Check.
I have control.
You have control. Ground visible.
Landing.
.500 feet, not stable.
Check.
Sync rate. Sync rate. 30. 20. 10.
Speed brake up.
Check.
Reverse is normal.
Check. Idle thrust.
Auto brake disarmed.
Check. Manual braking.
60 knots.
Check.
Check.
Okay to clean up.
Check.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our destination. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the aircraft has come to a complete stop. The captain has switched off the seatbelt sign and the main passenger door has been opened. Before leaving us, please remember to collect all your personal belongings by checking the overhead lockers and the seat pockets in front of you. Please be extra careful when opening overhead lockers, as cabin baggage may have moved during the flight, could fall out and cause injury. Smoking is not permitted until you leave the terminal building, and you are also reminded that smoking is illegal on the ramp. Before your next flight with us, have a look at the website where you will find the best deals on flights, car hire, hotels and travel insurance. Once again, thank you for flying with us today. It has been our pleasure to have you on board, and we look forward to welcoming you on board another one of our services in the very near future.
3 minutes.
Check. Yeah, he's sending it to a strange location. What's he doing? Okay, parking brake set. Lights and doors.
Check. Cabin crew, disarm doors and cross-check. Doors disarmed, no APU.
Check, we're on ground power. Ha! I thought I could not connect it. So it is working for some reason.
Altitude entering set.
Cancel last command.
Roger.
Okay, here we are. The jetway was not. I thought the jetway was not operable because GSX is not working, but somehow it detected my spot, and then it roughly put the jet radar not correctly to my door position. That's probably why the man there was waving. But yeah, I followed the yellow line. So why is the yellow line not suitable? Really strange. Well, just forget it. We made a nice landing, a little bit too fast on the approach at a certain point, which I had to correct. But it was fine. Nice flights from Bangkok to Phuket. Some weather avoidance after departure from Bangkok. Hope you liked it. I'm shutting down, and see you next time. Bye bye.